Hey guys, Shane here from AMain Hobbies and very happy to be back with you for Tech Talk, and we're back over here with tyres and tyre selection today. So of course a lot of you are racing, surface racers out there, and you're wondering what are the right tyres for your track? And I get this question almost every single day. Now tyres are going to be differing on several different things. Number one, the vehicle that you put them onto. Number two, the surface that you drive on. And number three, the compound that you'll be looking at. So let's look at all of that today, and let's look at a couple of tyre manufacturers that I've chosen, aka and Proline, that I'll be looking at some of their tyres today. Just chosen these because they seem to be one of the most commonly asked about tyres over the telephone from a daily basis from you guys, the viewers hopefully. So let's have a look at some of those. So first and foremost, I wanted to point out that of course tyres do come in different shapes and sizes. Now of course tyres are bigger or smaller depending on what vehicle you want to put them onto. For example, 8-scale buggies all have the same size tyre as do 8-scale truggies. But short course trucks sometimes have different offsets on the back with a different wheel. The tyres are the same, but the offset is different on the wheel. And on the buggies, on the 10-scale buggies, of course, the front wheel drive buggies have smaller wheels than the 4-wheel drive buggies. And also both of those differ in wheel size from the front to the back, where the 2-wheel and the 4-wheel drive buggies have the same back wheel. The wheels are always going to be a different size to the front. And also the 4-wheel drive buggy will be a little bit thicker than the 2-wheel drive buggy, which will be a little bit smaller. So number one, make sure that, of course, when you're choosing your tyres, that you first search by scale, and you can do that on our site just by typing in tyres. You can then search by 10 scale or 8 scale or 12 scale, on-road, off-road. You can use all of those filters there. I highly recommend that you do that because there may be a couple of other brands that maybe you don't know about that maybe you want to have a look at those tyres. All right, so once you've found the right size for your tyres, it is time to look at the tread pattern. Now, just to let you know, on the 8 scale side, it's pretty easy to decide, but just to decipher, a little bit more for those 10 scale guys. There's two very commonly used tyre styles, or should I say rim sizes, 2.2 inches and also 2.4 inches. Most of the racers that I race with, which we race on dirt, prefer the 2.2 inch rim. It's a smaller rim, gives you better traction with regards to getting acceleration down, but it does mean that you have more ability to be able to break the wheel free. So that does mean that there's a lot more force that you can apply to the wheel. So the larger wheel basically will give you more top speed and less wheel spin, will make it more handleable, but will make the car a little bit less responsive. And I find most people prefer that 2.2 wheel to become a little bit more responsive for you 10 scale guys. On the 8 scale, don't worry about the tyre size. Most of them are going to be the same. We're showing the buggies over here today. The truggy tyres, of course, much larger, and they're sometimes marked as truck tyres. So do note that if you see truck tyres, because that's what it used to start off as, the truggy class was a monster truck class first, so it was a monster truck class. So just look out for those truck tyres for you guys in the truggies. Cool, well let's look at the compounds, not the compounds, let's look at the tyre patterns next. I brought a couple of tyres for you. I brought the Proline Electron to show next to the AKA Chain Link. I brought the Proline Whole Shot to show next to the AKA Gridiron, and then I wanted to show you something Loamy, and I wanted to show you a hybrid tyre. So let's show you those today. Very simply put, in a nutshell, what I've noticed about tyres is basically the higher the grip, the more complex the pattern is going to be on your wheel, and also the flatter and lower profile that pattern or that tread is going to be on the wheel. For example, this one over here from AKA, the Chain Link and the Electron are both going to be good examples. There's the picture of the tread over there. As you can see, very low profile. It does stand up somewhat from the tyre. You guys hopefully can see pretty clearly over there. It does stand up a little bit from the tyre, and lots of crisscrosses, a couple of dots, going to give you good side bite and traction, good all-around traction. And you can see a very similar tread pattern and design over there from the AKA Chain Link, just a different way of going about it. Let me see if I can show you that nice and close on the camera over there, so that you can see that. Very similar approach. So both of these tyres are made for similar applications, high grip surfaces, and as you can see, these tyres being a little bit smaller, these are going to be for 10 scale vehicles. So do make sure, remember guys, the Chain Links you can get in the larger tyres as well. So the name isn't going to tell you necessarily if it's 10 scale or 8 scale. They might have the same tread pattern on their larger wheels. So do look out for that. I've ordered the wrong tyres about 100 times. So it means that you've got to return them and get the right ones, of course, because you can't run the smaller ones or you can't run the bigger ones. So look out for that. Next, we'll be going to, these two are probably at the dirt track some of the most popular tyres to run. These are the, this is not this one over here, the Proline Whole Shot, along with the Gridiron number 2. And you'll see again, fundamentally, the tyres are very similar. Let me show you the tread pattern on the bottom right-hand side over there. And that's what it looks like. The knobbly stands up just a little bit. And you'll see over here, the tyres are very, very, very similar in this case. But the one big difference that you have, where the knobblies on the Proline go all the way through, almost pretty uniformly all the way through, and always have spaces. On the gridiron, they've got a little bit of a join there in the middle. You see how the first middle couple of them actually join together to form one larger knobbly. So of course these tires will react differently. They're designed to go into the same conditions, which is going to be high to medium grip outdoor tracks, which is going to be dirt. They're not necessarily made for clay, but I did want to cover that in just a second, that there are actually clay compounds, and we'll be looking at the compounds in a second. So these are going to be more for your dirt. These could be clay as well as dirt, could also even be carpet if you wanted to use them on carpet. I've seen a lot of 10 scale racers use those on carpet, so good for that surface. And then basically the rule of thumb is, as the track becomes softer and loamier, more blown out and less grip, your knobblies become larger and larger and larger, and as such are going to be digging deeper and deeper into the soil to give you more grip. Now that, as you can see over here, I'd like to show you the I-beam. The I-beam is a good example of that in comparison to the to this one over here. Let me just squeeze that so you guys can see them nice and close. Look at the size of the knobblies. The knobbly on the I-beam is a lot larger than the knobbly on the gridiron 2. This is for a more hard packed surface, which is going to offer you more grip right off the bat, and this is going to be for a more loamy or a softer surface where maybe it's getting a little bit blown out and there's a bit of sand out there too. So that's a good way to go with those particular tires. So first thing that you want to check is of course size. Next thing you want to check is the surface of your track that you'll be racing on to determine the size and the tread pattern that you're going to want. And then the last and final thing that you're going to be looking at is going to be compound as well. Now when it comes to tire compound, it's incredibly important to look at the correct compound, for the reason being that a harder compound will last longer but will offer you less grip, whilst a softer compound will offer you more grip but not last as long. So on high grip and high track surfaces where there's high tire wear, you might want to go with something like for example, a soft long wear tire, which is going to give you the grip from the soft tire but the wear which is going to last a little bit longer. Some of the tire manufacturers offer that. On the other hand, you can also look for what is a slightly harder compound, like we see on the Proline side. We run the M4s and the M3s for super soft and soft, and the X4 and the X3 is going to be those slightly longer wear compounds. So do look for the right ones. Remember, the higher the heat goes, guys, the more likely it is that you actually want to run a slightly softer tire to give you more grip. But remember that the degradation is going to be much higher because of the combination of the heat and also the softer tire. So some of the drivers actually then harden their tire just slightly one compound down to get a little bit of reduced wear on their tires. One very important thing that I wanted to touch for you guys on your tires, number one, is the fact that you can rotate your tires, but not like you do on your automobile, okay? On your automobile, you can rotate your front left tire to the back right. People often do that. They swap them over. With these tires, what you want to do is you want to keep your left tires on the left and you want to keep your right tires on the right. It doesn't matter if they go forward or back, but what most drivers will prefer to do when using a used set of tires is put the more tread on the front and the less tread on the back, for the reason being that their differential setups generally are given to give a slightly more aggressive forward pull out of the momentum with those heavier differentials like we've previously discussed. So you're having your front wheels do more of the work and your back wheels do less of the work. So those tires are going to wear more, and they're also going to be more important to get more grip. So do label those left and right, because what will happen is, and I just wanted to show you guys, is very simply, imagine the knobbly looks like this, okay? Let me tear a piece of paper off over here. And the knobbly, here is our tire is round like that, and this is the knobbly that is sticking up and out of our tire. And as the tire is going this way, the tire is traveling this way around, it is wearing this down ever so slowly, and it's wearing it down, and it's wearing it down, and it's wearing it down, and eventually your knobbly will look something like that. Okay, it'll have an angle to it. Now what happens when you flip that tire around, right, is you now pop it on the other side, and the tire is now running the other way around, and all of a sudden you're wearing the tire down from this side. Now this is almost bald. Okay, so now you're wearing the tire down, down, down. You can see how very quickly you're going to run that tire bald. And also there's going to be very little resistance here for that little piece of knobbly to break off. So that would mean that you'd probably run your tires bald 2-3 goes. You know, you're really going to be going through tires a lot quicker. So I hope that's a little tip that'll save you guys some tire wear, to mark your tires left and right. I mark mine front left, back left, and front right and back right, and I always mount them traversely as I put them on per use. And then I wanted to point out, last and not least, that there are actually some hybrid tires out there as well. For example, Proline have come out with this particular tire, which is between the Electron, which is made for those high grip surfaces, and the Whole Shot, which is made for the outdoor, or I would say medium to high grip surfaces, but they're going to be outdoor. They've got the Electro Shot, which is going to be for a surface which possibly is going to be a little bit in between. So let's say you go to a high grip surface and it starts to wear out and it starts to get a bit loamy. You could go to the Electro Shots, and as it becomes loamy and a little bit more blowout, you could move over to the Whole Shots. So it is very important. The reason why I wanted to cover that when you buy your tires, ladies and gentlemen, that you do get more than one set of tires and that you do keep those in your bag, because you are going to be wanting to run, number one, different treads throughout the race day. You're going to wanting to run different compounds throughout the different race day. And also as track conditions change, you may find that different tires may be better for those suited conditions, whether it be heat, whether it be moisture, whether it be the track condition itself, and whether it be how the track is holding water. That's all very, very, very important. All right, guys, so I hope I've helped to make sense of tires for you today so you can understand those tread patterns a little bit better. In the next couple of videos, we'll be looking at some air products for you guys out there with the air. So I do have some FPV knowledge. I've also got some drone knowledge. I've got some helicopter knowledge and also some aeroplane knowledge. So if you guys want to see anything particular, please do like, share, comment. Give me a comment down below. I'll probably be doing propellers in the next video, and then from there we'll take it from your suggestions again. We've got some car setup tricks and tips coming from a gentleman named Speed, and I keep talking to him through our comments. If you want to talk to me as well, leave a comment down below. I will get back to you, and if there's any videos or ideas, I'll be happy to make them to help you guys out. All right, we'll see you guys next week for Tech Talk. It's been lovely to help you guys out with your tires. Have a nice day and see you next time.